In the shadow of forgotten mountains, three sisters faced a storm that could break them, or remake them forever. This is their story of courage, choice, and the quiet fire inside us all. High in the mist-wreathed hills of Eldervale lived three sisters. Elara, the eldest, strong, willed and protective; Mira, the middle, sharp, minded and cautious; and Leora, the youngest, gentle yet carrying a spark of unbreakable hope. Their parents had passed years earlier, leaving them a small stone house on the edge of the whispering forest. Life was hard but honest, tending goats, gathering herbs, weaving baskets for the distant village market. They had each other, and that had always been enough, until the winter that refused to end. Snow fell without mercy for months. The goats starved, the herb garden froze solid, the village road became impassable. Hunger clawed at their bellies, fear settled in their hearts. One evening, as the sisters huddled by a dying fire, a traveler half-frozen, barely able to speak, stumbled to their door. He carried only a tattered map and a single, strange warning before he collapsed. Beyond the black pines, a cottage stands alone. It offers warmth, but it demands truth. Only the brave enter. Only the honest leave whole. The man died that night. In his frozen hand, they found the map, creased, ancient, pointing to a path no one in Eldervale had ever taken. The sisters stared at it in the firelight. "We cannot wait for spring," Elara said, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "We will die here. We go at dawn." Mira shook her head. "The forest eats wanderers. The map could be a trick. We should ration what little we have and pray." Leora touched the map gently. "What if it's not a trick? What if it's a chance we've lost everything else? Why not risk the unknown?" They argued through the night. Pride, fear, hope clashed like swords. In the end, necessity won. At first light, they bundled their few possessions, kissed the threshold of their home goodbye, and stepped into the snow-choked forest. The path was brutal. Branches snapped like bones underfoot. Wind howled accusations. Wolves circled at a distance, eyes glowing like dying coals. Yet the sisters pressed on, Elara leading with axe in hand, Mira reading the map's faded symbols, Leora humming old lullabies to keep despair at bay. 3 days in, frost, by nipping their toes, they broke through the black pines and saw it, the strange cottage. It stood alone in a perfect clearing where no snow fell. Ivy climbed its walls in summer green. Smoke curled lazily from a chimney. Golden lamplight spilled from mullioned windows. It looked impossible, like a dream stitched into reality. Elara gripped her axe tighter. "It shouldn't exist here." Mira whispered, "Yet it does." Leora stepped forward first. "We knock." The door opened before her knuckles touched wood. Inside stood an old woman, tall, silver-haired, eyes like polished obsidian. She wore robes the color of twilight. She said nothing, only gestured them in. Warmth enveloped them like arms long missed. A fire roared in a hearth that needed no wood. A table groaned under bread, cheese, stew, apples, honey, enough for weeks. "Eat," the woman said. Her voice was wind through leaves. "Then speak your truths." They ate slowly, warily. Strength returned. Color bloomed in their cheeks. When the last crumb vanished, the woman sat across from them. "I am the keeper," she said. "This cottage is no shelter. It is a mirror. It gives what you bring. Lie, and it takes. Speak truth, and it gives more than you ask." Elara crossed her arms. "We need food, supplies, a way home before we starve." The keeper smiled thinly. "Then tell me why you truly came." Silence stretched. Mira spoke first, voice cracking. "We came because we are afraid of failing each other. Afraid I am not clever enough to save us. The walls shimmered. A basket appeared, filled with preserved fruits, dried meats, warm woolen blankets. Elira exhaled roughly. I came because I carry the weight alone. I think if I let go, we all fall. I'm terrified I'm not strong enough to hold us forever. A second basket materialized heavy with grain, tools, healing salves. Leora looked at her sisters, then at the keeper. Tears welled. I came because I believe we are more than our suffering. I came hoping that somewhere, somehow, we can still become who we dream of being, not just survivors, but women who choose joy again. A third gift appeared, not food, but 3 small mirrors, each framed in silver, each reflecting not their faces, but moments yet unlived. Elira saw herself laughing freely. Mira saw herself teaching children in the village. Leora saw fields blooming under her care. The keeper stood. The cottage has heard. Now choose. Take the gifts and return home changed only in fortune, or stay one night longer and face the deepest truth each of you hides even from yourselves. The sisters looked at one another. Something unspoken passed between them. We stay. Elara said. The keeper nodded. The fire flared violet. The room dissolved into mist. Each sister found herself alone, in separate chambers that mirrored their hearts. Elara stood in a vast stone hall. Shadows wore her own face every time she had silenced her fear, every time she had pushed her sisters away to protect them, every time she had believed strength meant solitude. The shadows spoke. You are not their shield. You are their sister. Let them stand beside you. She wept, ugly, wrenching sobs. When the tears fell, the shadows dissolved. She felt lighter, as though chains she never knew she wore had shattered. Mira stood in a library of endless shelves. Books burned with her doubts, every plan that failed in her mind before she tried. Every time she chose caution over courage. Every night she lay awake calculating risks instead of dreaming possibilities. The flames whispered. Intelligence without action is only fear in disguise. Trust your mind and your heart. She reached out, snuffed the flames with bare hands. The books rearranged into orderly rows. Knowledge felt like a friend again, not a judge. Leora stood in an empty garden under starlight. Flowers withered as fast as they bloomed, every hope she had buried because it seemed foolish. Every dream she silenced because the world called it childish. The dying petals sighed. Hope is not weakness. It is the root of all courage. Let it grow wild. She knelt, pressed her hands to soil. The garden exploded into color roses, lilies, sunflowers reaching for unseen sun. She laughed through tears. Dawn broke. The 3 sisters found themselves together again before the keeper. You have faced the mirror, she said. Now take what is yours. The cottage offered no more baskets. Instead, it offered paths, 3 paths, leading from the clearing. One path led back to their old home, stocked now with everything they needed to survive the winter. One path led deeper into the mountains, to lands of new opportunity, trade routes, villages that needed weavers, healers, teachers. One path led nowhere visible, only light, and the promise that it curved toward whatever each sister secretly longed for most. Elira looked at her sisters. I thought I had to choose for us. I was wrong. We choose together. Mira nodded. No more hiding behind plans. We act, we risk together. Leora smiled, eyes shining, and we hope fiercely, foolishly, fully. They chose the 3rd path, the one of light, not because it was easiest, but because it demanded they walk it as they truly were, flawed, brave, connected. Years later, the strange cottage stood empty once more. Travelers spoke of it in hushed tones. a place that offered warmth but asked for truth. In Eldervale, a new story spread. 3 sisters had vanished into the storm and returned transformed. They rebuilt their home, but they did not stay small. Elara trained village women in self-defense and leadership. Mira opened a school where children learned not just facts, but how to question fear. Leora planted gardens that fed the hungry and taught others to grow hope from hard earth. They never spoke much of the cottage. When pressed, they only smiled and said, "We met ourselves there, and we decided to like what we saw." The world tried to break them. Instead, they broke open, revealing strength they never knew they carried, love they had forgotten to give themselves, futures they dared to claim. And somewhere, in the quiet between heartbeats, the keeper watched and smiled. So remember this: when life leads you to a strange place, a strange choice, a strange mirror, do not run. Step inside, speak your truth, face what hides within, because the greatest storms do not destroy us, they reveal us. And once revealed, we become unstoppable. Go now and choose your path.